on.
Hi, my name is Charlotte, and I am an independent Jamberry consultant, and I am doing this short little how-to on the basics of NAS. We'll get right started and try to ignore the bubble. I can't make it go away, so get to look at my face in the corner the whole time. Hi. Okay. So the first thing to do is NAS is Nail Art Studio, which is where we can design our own apps through Jamberry. You'll see on screen right now, I'm on my just Jamberry basic, the web page where any of our customers would go to purchase wrap. If you're going to do NAS, you can click on Shop and go to Nail Art Studio. If you haven't signed up before or haven't signed up for an account, you would have to sign in. But as long as you're signed in, you'll be able to go right there just by clicking Get Started Now. Okay, it's going to ask you to log in. Okay, so this is your Nail Art Studio dashboard. You'll see any designs you have will be here. If you want to create a new design, you go to Create New Design. You arrow down. If you had any pending designs, they would show up down at the very, very bottom of the first page. Okay, so we're going to go to Create New Design. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just so that you can see everything that's on there. This is your basic Nail Art Studio dashboard. So we'll go over what's on here. These are all of the different wraps. This is which wrap you're working on, so it'll show you. If you want to see all of them at one time, you can click on Full Sheet, and it'll show you all of the wraps at one time. Okay, we're going to go back over to individual wraps. Now, as you can see, it's a blank canvas. Okay, you have some options for what you can do to start creating. There are objects that you can apply to it. There are patterns, and you can apply text. And then you can upload things to apply. And we're not going to go over uploads today. We're just going to use what is actually here. Okay? If you're going to put an object on there, these are all of the different objects you put on a wrap. We're going to pick something simple. We're going to pick a flower. And it automatically puts it in the center. You'll notice when I move my arrow to hover over it, I get one of those four-way mover things. And if you left click, then you can move it anywhere on the wrap. You can also resize it, little, big, and then you can rotate it using the long handle. You'll see the little curved arrow, and then you can rotate it any direction you want. Okay? You also have the option to change the color. Once we have it active, you can see there's a color option right here. You click on that. This gives you all of the basic colors. If you want more, you click on more, and you have the option to go through and just click different colors. You also have the option to enter a hex code, if you know what that is. And a hex code is what the internet has a specific number that tells every computer out there what color to put on for something. So that color right there corresponds to that number. You can click anywhere in here, pick different colors that you want. Move the slider down, and we're going to pick a purple. Okay, so you just move the dot to where you want it. This shows you what color it currently is. The right side shows you what color you're changing it to. Find one you like, click choose, and there you go. Now your flower is that color. So now you'd want to place it where you want it on the wrap, and then if you want to make it larger or smaller, okay? Now, if you really like that flower or whatever it is, and you want to put a lot of it out there, there's this nifty little button called Copy. So if you copy it, it makes an exact copy that you can then move. And you can do that as many times as you want to. Now we've got some pretty purple flowers. If I wanted to put a background there, I personally pick the oval. Go up real quick. And then I make it big enough that it'll cover the whole thing. And move it back. And then you can pick whatever color you want it to be. We're just going to go with one of the colors that's already there. Now you notice it automatically put it in front of the other design. You have these great buttons called forward and back so that you can, whatever design is picked, it moves it behind the other design. Or if you do forward, it moves it in front of them. So we're going to put it all the way behind them. So that's what our wrap looks like right now. Okay, if you wanted to add a pattern, click on patterns. Here are all the different patterns that you can use. You'll notice some old familiar favorites. Darks, the hearts, some pretty circles, cheetah patterns, giraffes, all kinds of stuff. We are going to go with a very simple scroll. Wait, there it goes. Anything you add, it automatically puts it to the front, so you can put it where you want it. So I'm going to move it back behind the flowers, but in front of the blue. Now, you notice it's black. You can change this color just the way you did the color of the ovals and the color of the flowers. You click on color, and you can pick whatever color you want it to be. We're going to choose a slightly darker blue. Okay, and then you can also then resize it, place it. Now, if you want to see what your wrap is actually starting to look like, you have the option to apply, which will apply it to just the one wrap that you're actually working on. You can see it down there. If you like mine and want to make a whole sheet of the same thing, click Apply to Multiple and choose Apply Design to All. If you wanted to apply it to just a couple of wraps, you just click the numbers of the wraps you want to look like that and click Apply Design to select it. We're going to apply it to all. And then it'll take its time. And you can see it starting to populate the wrap design across all of the wraps. Now what you notice as it does that is it keeps the same size and dimensions. So while it may be perfect for your large wrap, you'll notice you're starting to see less and less of it on the smaller wraps. But you can fix that easily. Click on one of your smaller wraps. And I would start by making that a little bit smaller, see more of it on there. And then I would take one of my pink flowers and make it a little bit smaller. My next one, make it a little bit smaller. And leave a big one on there, just for the fun of it. Now, I apply this to all of them, but I probably only want that to go on the smaller wrap sizes. So this is where I'd use the Apply Design to select it. So I'd pick the numbers I want. So we're going to do the last 3 on each one with that design. And click Apply Design to Selected. And then it'll apply that smaller design that we've just done to the smaller wrap. Now, something important to keep in mind whenever you're designing NAS is that you've got 2 sides of the wrap to design. So we've right now only designed one side of the wrap. Now, if you want to, like if you're somebody who likes to do accent nails with things, designing just one half of the wrap is fine, because then you've got an automatic accent nail that doesn't have the color on it, or doesn't have whatever design you put on this side. So this is super simple wrap. This one, if you were happy with it, would be done. So what you would do, you would name it, call it pink and blue. We're incredibly excited. After you've named it, and if you're happy with it, you want to see what the whole sheet of it looks like, you click Preview. And what preview is going to do is it's going to bring you up a full sheet of the wraps for you to look at. I promise. Give it just a second. The waiting is the fun part. This is when you'll look at your design and be like, I don't like where that flower's at. You'll want to change it because you've had time to just stare at it. I think it's almost ready. Oh, no, there goes the circle again. While we're waiting for that to process, whenever you're naming your designs, I find it most helpful to name them something that's very much descriptive of what it is. So that way when I'm scrolling through my list of them, I know exactly what it is. When you're on your main screen, you'll notice that instead of the names, it assigns them a number. So I make sure to keep a list of my designs and numbers so I know what matches up. Okay, so this is the preview screen. And you can see this is what a full sheet of wraps would look like. So this is when you can kind of see, no, I don't like that. Yes, I do. Anything you want to change. If you want to change anything, you click back and you edit it. If you're happy with this, if you think, oh, this is perfect, I'm very happy with it, make sure you scroll to the bottom and click I agree to the terms and conditions. Then click submit for approval. It's going to remind you of a couple of really important things we're going to go over in just a minute. You have to make sure that your design covers the entire wrap, that there is no white edge. Okay? So submit design, and then you wait to hear back on whether it's approved or not. And pretty much anything you're going to design using just the NAS tools that are there is going to be approved because obviously they don't have anything there for you to use that isn't acceptable. It's only when you get into bringing in your own designs that you have to worry about things possibly not being approved. Okay. Wait for this to hurry up and submit. Hopefully you've seen that that was super simple and easy to do. Very easy to play around with. Okay, so it'll tell you that yours is done, and then it gives you the option to go back to My Designs. Now, if these are all those approved designs, the one you just sent is now showing under Pending Designs. It's got the design ID and the name. Okay. Now we're going to create another new design. Now, one of the first questions that a lot of people ask is they want to know, how do you get designs on both sides of the wrap that match? So first thing I'm going to do is create a solid colored background. I make my oval, make it huge, and then I pick my color for it. A really pale peach. We can see things against it really, really well. Okay, so then we're going to take an object, like let's say a butterfly. Okay. I'm going to put the butterfly on there. I'm going to size it exactly the way I want, and then I'm going to color for it. Now, if I want that exact same butterfly on this side, easiest way I've found to do it is to copy it, and then before I move it, I go ahead and rotate it to 180 degrees, and then I move it and put it on my other side. So that's what I've found is the easiest way when using the objects and things that are naturally here to get them mirrored on each side. And that's how you get this butterfly to turn upside down for that side. So we're going to do that one more time. So we're going to pick our object, pick this snowflakey thing, and make it sit down on this side. And actually, put it right over the butterfly. We're going to pick a color. So I'm with purple, so let's go with a deep burgundy. Now, if I want to put it on the other side, again, you flip it 90 degrees, or 180 degrees, I'm sorry, get my math right, and then you move it. Oops, I didn't copy it. There we go. I forgot to copy. And move it. There we go. I just did it in reverse. Now, you notice how we've got one design on top of the other. Here, you can play with, let's send that one backwards behind the butterfly. Then let's make it, oops, grab the peach instead. That's the butterfly. I'm going to move the butterfly off to the side for a second. I want to make this bigger. I'm going to make that really, really big. And then center it. And then I'm going to move my butterfly back on top of it. So that's called layering design. You can create patterns and things by layering stuff itself. So I'm going to get rid of what we just did. And anytime you don't like something, you click on it, click the trash button. Click on it, click the trash button. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to layer something again. So we're going to do the butterfly. And this is a design that I've used a couple of times because I really enjoy it. And it just is a quick way to make something really kind of pretty. The first thing I do, take a butterfly, make it very, very big, and center it. And then I pick a color for it. Okay. Then I'm going to add another butterfly. Directly on top of it. I'm going to do my best to center it so it matches up. And then I'm going to change its color. Get red. And then if we want to, we can add yet another butterfly. Now this one we're going to make a little bit smaller so it shows up again. And then we center it and we pick a color for it. So what you see there is that we've used one shape 3 times to get a very pretty design. Now you can do that with any of the objects that are here. You can layer, play with them, mix and match, whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm going to delete those. And the next thing I'm going to show you is playing with the pattern. We've got these different patterns. I'm going to pick curvy lines. You can see they've got a certain size and shape. And again, whenever you click on it, you can change the black part of it pretty much any color you want. We're going to change it to a light purple. So if you don't like this size, you can size down this way. Using the corner so that length and width both change the same. You can play with just the width, make a super narrow skinny stripe. Like that. Or you can play with the opposite direction. Now, what I like to do is, let's say that I got a stripe size that I really, really like that. But you'll notice there's not quite enough of it to cover the entire wrap. You know, I've got a little bit of that beige still showing. You can match these up by copying and then moving. You can also do overlay. So this is where those kindergarten skills come in very, very handy, because you can match up design. So that way you get a continuous pattern. So that way, whatever the basic shape that you have to start with, you can make it fatter, smaller, wider, narrower to fit what you particularly want. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how the text works. If you're going to add text, the first thing you have to do is pick your font. These are the fonts. Not terribly exciting, but this is what they have, so we're going to pick that one. I'm going to click Add Text. You'll see that the word sample text came up. I click on those. I can move it around and figure out where I want to put it. Now, I can highlight it, leave out what's in there, and type in whatever you want to type. Now, if I click on it again, I can do the same things with it that I could do with the others. I can rotate it, and I can change its color. You can also then make it bigger, smaller, bigger, to put it wherever you want. Now you can put as much text in there as you want to. You can also copy and move any of the text that you've created, the same way you can with all of the others. Okay? That. I'm going to delete our background. Now, one of the common mistakes a lot of people make is thinking that if they don't fill in this, it'll automatically be white. And that is not the case. Your design will get disapproved every single time if you don't have something that fills this entire space, which is one of the reasons why the very first thing I do is pick a background. And make sure that it covers the entire wrap. That would not get approved. Even that would not get approved. You see that blue line right here, that blue dotted line? You want to make sure whatever background you have covers that entire blue line. See, we're still a little bit out. Make it a little bit bigger. So that way that entire blue dotted line has my background color of whatever I'm going to set that as. I would say that's the first thing you should do anytime you're designing a wrap in here, just because then you don't have to worry about it. I would also then automatically apply that design to all of mine. So that way I know that each wrap I'm starting with, I've got a solid background that meets the guidelines for making sure the entire wrap is covered. And if you want it to be a white background, you can make that oval white. That's fine. You can have a white background. You just have to actually add it, not just use the template that's there. Okay, so that is how you quite simply design a wrap. I'll wait for it to finish loading. Okay, so we've gone over how to design it, how to use an object, how to use a pattern, how to add text. The one other thing I'll show you real quick is if you switch to the full wrap view. While it takes its sweet time, you'll see that we see all of the wraps here. You can decorate wraps in this view as well if you want to. You can add objects, and then you have the option to place it on any of the wraps you want. So if you're one of those people who likes to design everything at once or have an overall image that goes across all of them, this would be the way that you want to design it. right now, we're going to go back to my design. And the last thing I'm going to show you is how to save a good image of your wrap so that you can share it with people. Now, anything that you've worked on, it's going to save for you. So even though we didn't name this and haven't previewed it or submitted it, it's going to save it for us. So if we want to come back to it, we can work on it again. Watch the little circle go round and round. There we go. So there's all of our approved designs. We have a pending design, and now we have a work in progress. The work in progress are works that you haven't finished yet. Okay? So if you want to save a picture of design that's really good quality to share, you want to make sure you do it not from preview, which gives you a tiny little version of it that is not very high quality. You can see how small that is, and so if you save that, when people start to look at it, try to make it big enough to look at, it doesn't share very well. So where you want to save it from is if you click View. We want to view the project. We can't change anything on it because it's submitted. While it populates all of them. Okay. So from there, you're going to click your preview button. Reprocess again is going to bring up that bigger preview that has much better quality images. It's actually not a bad wrap for just a couple of seconds designing. I think my cat's going to come over and say hello while we're waiting for the incredible circle. And if you're wondering, yes, sometimes Nail Art Studio really does take a long time to do stuff. That's because there's so many of us out there designing stuff, so it gets a little overwhelmed occasionally. Yay! You see that this is a bigger image and much better quality. So the easiest way to share it, there's a lovely little tool that everybody almost has on their computer called a snipping tool. Or you can just do a print screen. And print screen is that little button at the top of your keyboard, the PRTSC. So once you press print screen, it'll ask you where you want to save it to. Now, if you have the snipping tool installed, and this comes on all Windows computers, you would click New, and then you can pick exactly what you want to copy. And then I would save it. And there you go. That is how to design a wrap. So hopefully that all made sense. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Facebook or through my Jamberry page, and I would be happy to help.